Hey everybody, welcome back. The We're waiting for a juror. Apparently this juror is in the building and is on their way up. Once they get up there, then we'll be able to start the proceedings. So I need to go walk the dog, but I'm going to put this live and I'll be in and out, watching with you guys today, commenting. So enjoy. As soon as that gets underway, as soon as that juror's up, I think this is going to get underway. They have said they anticipate this thing to be wrapped up by tomorrow afternoon. So I don't think we have a whole lot. We're going to hear victim impact stuff. It's all kinds of stuff. Victim impact. I don't know what the defense has as far as mitigation. I suspect not much because they're wrapping this up pretty quickly. All right, so I'll go ahead and leave, go walk the dog. I'll be right back. Hopefully by then this thing has gotten underway, and I'll see you then.
All right, let's bring in the jury. We'll get started. All right, the jury is present. Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. And before we get started, at this juncture in the trial, I know that I have drilled into your heads, hopefully successfully, to be sure to avoid any media coverage of the case. Also, not to talk to anyone about the case, including your fellow jurors, although we're past deliberations in the guilt phase, but that rule applies now too at this time. Don't talk to each other about this point in the trial until you go back to deliberating the case. But because of the vast media attention that this case has attracted, I want to be absolutely sure to reiterate to you, although I think I've got the message clear once again, in an abundance of caution, please don't talk to anyone about the case. And I appreciate that you are following the court's instructions in that regard, so that you base this part of the proceeding only on the evidence presented in court that you've already heard in the guilt phase of the trial and that you will be hearing during the sentencing phase. Before we get started and I give you instructions about this part of the proceeding, I do want to tell you in advance, give you an idea of logistically, procedurally, how we're going to be going forward over the next 2 days. And my primary goal there is to assure you that our intent is to submit this case to you for your decision tomorrow afternoon. Cases at this juncture involve great logistical challenge that are beyond the control of the attorneys. They do the best they can, but witnesses will be called who are either at or coming from very far away places, and you all are aware of what is involved with travel. So therefore, what's going to happen this morning, we're going to have some very brief testimony this morning. We're going to break. We're going to start this afternoon at 1 o'clock. We're going to have some testimony this afternoon. And then after that, we'll break. We'll come back tomorrow morning, have some testimony in the morning. And then the goal would be to submit the case to you with arguments and instructions on the law in the afternoon where the case is submitted to you. The reason I'm telling you that is I anticipate some of these breaks could be significant beyond what we would normally have done during the guilt phase. So I just want you to be prepared for that, and also not to concern yourself with it, just to be patient. But I think it'll help you being patient if you know the grand scheme as far as when the case will be submitted to you, which is tomorrow. So I believe your participation in this matter will be ended tomorrow afternoon. That's the schedule. So now that I've explained that, members of the jury, you have found the defendant guilty of one count of first-degree murder of Tanya Wise and one count of first-degree murder of her unborn child. The only issue before you in this phase of the trial is to determine the appropriate penalty as to these crimes. The penalty for each of these crimes is either life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. Before proceeding further, it will be helpful if you understand how this proceeding will be conducted. The attorneys will have an opportunity, if they wish, to make an opening statement. The opening statement gives the attorneys a chance to tell you what evidence they believe will be presented during the penalty phase of this trial. As you know, what the lawyers say during opening statements is not evidence, and you are not to consider it as such. After the attorneys have had the opportunity to present their opening statements, the state and the defendant may present evidence. Witnesses may be called to testify under oath. If so, they will be examined and may be cross-examined by the attorneys. Documents and other exhibits also may be produced as evidence. This evidence, along with the evidence that you heard during the guilt phase of this trial, is presented for you to determine whether the state proved beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the alleged aggravating factors. If so, you must weigh whether the proven aggravating factors are sufficient and whether the aggravating factors outweigh any mitigating circumstances the defendant proves by the greater weight of the evidence. Finally, you will decide whether the defendant should be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole or to death. At the conclusion of the evidence and after argument of counsel, you will be instructed on the law that will guide your deliberations. An aggravating factor is the only circumstance recognized by Florida law that could result in a defendant receiving the death penalty. An aggravating factor increases the gravity of a crime or the harm to a victim beyond the harm inherent in every first-degree murder. You must unanimously agree that an aggravating factor was proven beyond a reasonable doubt before it may be considered by you in arriving at your sentencing decision. The aggravating factors alleged by the state in this case as to both victims are: 1, as to both victims, that the defendant was contemporaneously convicted of another capital felony. This is based on the conviction as to the victim involved in the other count. As to both victims, the capital felony was committed for financial gain. That's number 2. Number 3, as to both victims, the first-degree murder was committed in a cold, calculated, and premeditated manner without any pretense of moral or legal justification. The term cold means the murder was the product of calm and cool reflection. The term calculated means having a careful plan or prearranged design to commit murder. A killing is premeditated if it occurs after the defendant consciously decides to kill. The decision must be present in the mind at the time of the killing. The law does not fix the exact period of time that must pass between the formation of the premeditated intent to kill and the killing. The period of time must be long enough to allow reflection by the defendant. The premeditated intent to kill must be formed before the killing. However, in order for this aggravating factor to apply, a heightened level of premeditation demonstrated by a substantial period of reflection is required. A pretense of moral or legal justification is any claim of justification or excuse that, though insufficient to reduce the degree of murder, nevertheless rebuts the otherwise cold, calculated, or premeditated nature of the murder. And aggravating factor number 4 relates only to count 2, the murder, first-degree murder of the unborn child, and that is the victim of the capital felony was a person less than 12 years of age. Once the state has presented evidence of the existence of aggravating factors, victim impact evidence may be presented. Such evidence is only presented to demonstrate the victim's uniqueness as an individual and the loss to the community by the victim's death. However, victim impact evidence must not be considered by you as an aggravating factor. Mitigating circumstances. A mitigating circumstance can be anything that might indicate the death penalty is not appropriate for the defendant. It is not limited to the facts surrounding the crime. In other words, a mitigating circumstance may include any aspect of the defendant's character, background, or life, or any circumstance of the offense that may indicate the death penalty is not an appropriate sentence in this case. Whether a mitigating circumstance has been proven is an individual judgment by each juror. A mitigating circumstance need not be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, but must be proven by the greater weight of the evidence. After the evidence has been presented, the attorneys will have the opportunity to make their closing arguments. Following the closing arguments by the attorneys, the court will instruct you on the law. After the final instructions are given, the alternate jurors will be released and you will begin your deliberations. You should not form any definite or fixed opinion until you've heard all the evidence, the arguments of the lawyers, and my instructions on the law. Once again, until that time, you should not discuss the case among yourselves or anyone else by any means whatsoever. Your decision must be based solely on the evidence or lack of evidence and the law. The same rules and procedures regarding your possession and use of cell phones apply to this phase of the trial as well. At the end of the case, while you are deliberating, you must not communicate with anyone outside the jury room, and you cannot have in the jury room any cell phones, computers, or other electronic devices other than those that we would provide to you as we did in the guilt phase. Once again, you must not conduct any investigation of your own. The same rules continue to apply. Just as in the guilt phase of this case, a defendant has the absolute right to remain silent. From the exercise of a defendant's right to remain silent, a jury is not permitted to draw any inference regarding the existence of an aggravating factor or an appropriate sentence, and the fact that a defendant did not take the witness stand must not influence your sentencing decision in any manner whatsoever. We now begin with the opening statements of the attorneys, and the state may proceed with its opening statement.
Morning, everyone. All right, so as you've already found the defendant guilty of first-degree murder of Tanya Wise and first-degree murder of what would be her second son, the defendant's fifth child, Josiah Wise. And as the judge just explained to you, all of the evidence that was introduced during the guilt phase applies in the penalty phase. So all of the evidence that you learned, all of the testimony, that all applies in this case. And if you need to bring it, it'll go back with you again if you need it. So what is the first step that we talked about? And this goes back to jury selection. The state has to prove each of the aggravating factors beyond a reasonable doubt. And what you'll see when you go back and you think about the evidence that from the guilt phase applies to this case is that has all been proven. Each one of those have been proven by beyond a reasonable doubt. And the judge talked to you about 4 different factors. 3 of them apply to both victims. And when we talk about both counts are independent of themselves. The defendant can get a death sentence on both counts. He can get a death sentence on one or the other. He can get death for first-degree murder of an unborn child, or he can get the death sentence on just Tanya Wise. He can get life on both counts. That's your decision. But what the evidence that was presented in this case already shows is that each and every one of those aggravating factors has already been proven beyond reasonable doubt. And when you use your common sense, it's pretty clear. Because what's the first one? Contemporaneous, there's a capital conviction. Both of the murders you've already found him guilty of. That's what that factor is. It's been proven you've already found him guilty of both murders at the same time of both the victims. That factor's been proven beyond reasonable doubt. What's the next one? Financial gain. How has that been proven? He told us in the garbage truck, I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose it. He needs to stop this before he has another child. It's going to ruin his marriage. It's going to cost him money. There's a potential for there to be a separation. He's got a new child to take care of. He wanted to eliminate the possibility of his wife finding out and the existence of him having another child. He did this for a financial gain. He tells Eric Alvarado days and times over and over again, what is his situation? It's been proven beyond reasonable doubt. The fourth one that applies to just the victim, once again, you use your common sense. You think about this, the victim was less than 12. We know the gestational age of the baby. She was 8 months pregnant. Once again, the evidence that's already been presented in this case proves that beyond a reasonable doubt. So when you go back there, the first step should be those 3 easily proven beyond a reasonable doubt. What is the last one? It was done in a cold and calculated and premeditated. And the judge, he defined those to you. Cold is a cool, calm reflection. Let's go back to the garbage truck video. He planned this out for days, over and over again. He drives around in his garbage truck discussing, should I do it this way? Should I blow her brains out? Should I choke her? Would it be easier to get it done with one blow and be done with this? They look at many different spots of where he's going to dump the body. Is anyone going to find her out here? He thinks about what her life is like. No one's going to be looking for her. He talks about how he's going to lure her out there. It's all been proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Any one of the 4 aggravating factors in and of itself can justify the death penalty if you go through the whole process and you follow the laws instructed by the judge. All 4 of them can, but each one is independent of itself. And the first step is, do you find that there are aggravating factors? And the evidence shows yes, all 4 of them are there. Now, do those aggravating factors justify the death penalty? Yes, I encourage you that they do. And when you go back and you look at all of the evidence in this case, you look at the aggravating factors, you consider the mitigating circumstances, the appropriate sentence is the death penalty in this case. Thank you.
Thank you. And the defense is in a position to make an opening statement at this time, Mr. Burns.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, good morning. I have waited long to address you, but more about that later. The state will, I think, likely prove, probably already has, that this killing was done coldly and calculatedly and premeditatedly. I think they're going to prove that to you. So I think you probably will have an aggravator in your pocket. And I think regarding the victim, Josiah, who looked in the autopsy photos so much to me like a newborn baby, I think you're certainly going to find that he is under the age of 12. And this is the opportunity where I will tell you what the mitigators will be and what my witnesses will be and who they will be and what they will say. And I would love to tell you all about it, but I don't know. Since the conviction, many of my witnesses have melted away. They won't be here. Victims of their own moral cowardice, in my opinion. I could compel their appearance by subpoena, but I'm here to beg for a man's life, and I don't want people in the witness chair who don't want to help me do that. So I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen beyond this afternoon. This afternoon, I will present a witness. His name is Raul Banasco. He is an expert in prisons, in the Florida prison system. He's worked in Florida. He's worked in other states. And he will tell you about the prison system and how Jose will fit into it. If you do vote to condemn him to death, I think your knowledge and common sense tells you that he will exist as a prisoner for years until that happens. And if you should vote for life without possibility of parole, then he will exist in prison forever and ever. And Raul Banasco will tell you how that might be so that you have a fuller picture there. You will also hear from a lady who knew Jose a long time ago, knew him well, knew him intimately. She will come in and testify. She, at least, is not afraid of what people on social media might say about her. She will come in difficult circumstances and tell you a little bit more about Jose. That's all I have for this afternoon. The judge mentioned travel problems. That's my witnesses. We have a problem wrangling them and getting them here from Connecticut. I do expect that we are going to have some of Jose's family members arrive this afternoon in Palm Beach. We will speak to them this evening. The state will have a chance to speak to them tomorrow, and you will hear from one or two or three or maybe all four of them tomorrow. I'm not sure how many are actually going to get on the plane. And so I don't want to leave you in a mystery. I wish I could tell you who's going to be here and what they're going to say, but you and I will learn together probably. But the thrust of the matter is that you will have plenty of mitigators to consider. And because I am missing witnesses, will probably alter and enlarge some portions of my intended argument that will be addressing what it might mean to you and how you will make your moral decision. As you have learned in jury selection, it's your own personal moral decision. I'm going to offer you, how about that, some guidance in that way. So you will hear some witnesses for the defense this afternoon. I think you will hear from some of Jose's family members tomorrow. And then I think you're going to be making your decision or retiring to deliberate about it at some point tomorrow. That's all I have for you right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. And the state may proceed with its case.
Yes, sir. The people of the state of Florida call Elizabeth Bedolla.
If you stop right here, raise your right hand and face the clerk.
Do you swear affirm that evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Over that with you. Stand.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You've testified before, but go ahead and state your name for the record and spell your last name, please.
My name is Elizabeth Bedolla. It's Bedolla.
Okay. And again, just for the sake of clarity, go ahead and state your relationship with Tanya Wise.
Tanya was my daughter.
Okay. And did you prepare a written victim impact statement?
That's correct.
Okay, I'm going to show you what has been marked as court's exhibit number 1. Do you recognize this statement?
Yes,
Is that the statement that you prepared for the jury today?
yes.
Okay. When you feel like you're ready, please go ahead and read that statement to the jury.
My name is Elizabeth Petola, and I am the mother of Tanya E. Weiss and the grandmother of her unborn son, Josiah Thomas Weiss. I am here to speak about the loss of my Tanya and Josiah and how their death has forever changed my life and my family's life. Tanya was lovable, caring, a devoted mother. She had a beautiful soul and was always willing to help and take care of her family. She enjoyed being a mother more than anything in the world. She loved spending time with her son Jamar, playing with him, cheering for him in all his events, and making sure he always felt loved and supported. Tanya was so excited about becoming a mother again. She always spoke about giving birth and how great of a mother she would be once more. She had so many dreams for Jamar and Josiah, dreams of raising them, guiding them, creating happy life together. Those dreams were stolen from her, from us, from the child who will never have a chance to grow up with his loving mother. Every memory with Tanya was special. I clearly remember the last time we were together as a family. Her stepdad, her son, Tanya, and I went to the beach. We laughed, we played, we had so much fun. It was one of the happiest days we had together, and I will cherish it forever. Another beautiful moment that I remember was her baby shower, surrounded by family, celebrating new life that we were waiting for to welcome. Those were the last 2 times we had with Tanya. That were memories I will hold on in my heart for the rest of my life. The emotional impact of losing my Tanya and Josiah is unbearable. I cannot sleep at night. When I do, the nightmares are horrific. Birthdays, holidays, and even simple dinners bring so much emptiness, loneliness, and pain because she's not there. I'm unable to function properly at work or in my daily life. I miss her so much. My baby girl. She was my baby girl, my only girl. And losing her has broke me in many ways I cannot explain. The grief is overwhelming. I live in constant pain, not only in my body, but also in my heart. A heart that never goes away. It never goes away. I'm angry. I'm angry because I don't have Tanya and Josiah. here with me to love and joy and share my life with every day. They should have been here. Instead, I'm left with grief, sadness, and memories. That anger is part of my pain and it will never leave me. I still have problems accepting that she's gone. I catch myself thinking that she will be here with us tomorrow and that I hear her voice or see her smile. But tomorrow comes and she's still not there. That reality is crushing and it's something that I struggle with for the rest of my life. Her son, Jamar, who was only 8 years old at the time of her mother's murder, misses his mom every single day. The sadness and the trauma that this has caused him is something no child should ever have to carry. Jamar struggled with the loss deeply, and it breaks my heart to see him growing up without his mother's love, guidance, and presence in his life. Our house was one full of laughter and energy, and it's now quiet. Tanya was the life of our home, with her smile, her joy, and the way she played all around with Jamar. Now the light is gone, and our home feels dark and empty without her. The pain is not mine alone. Tanya's stepfather, her son, brothers, grandparents, and uncle, and cousins are all suffering as well. Many of us are battling depression, trauma, PTSD because of this tragedy. Our entire family has shattered, and the weight of the grief follows us every single day. The stress of losing Tanya and Josiah has also affected my health. I have heart condition. It has grown worse because of the grief and the stress I carry every day. The strategy has taken serious toll on my body, broken. It has also broken my spirit. And it's not just me. It has also taken physical and emotional impact on our son, Jamar. I grapples daily with the loss of Tanya, his mother. I wonder how the future will be. And I wonder how Jamar will grow up without Tanya. And how our family will find a way to live with this emptiness. Nothing feels certain anymore without her. The future we imagine is gone. And we're left trying to survive in a world that feels hopeless and broken. Tanya has already missed so much, and she will continue to miss every important milestone in Jamar's life. She will not be there for his accomplishments, his graduation, even his wedding day one day. She will never get a chance to hold her grandchild. These are moments that should have been hers as a mother, but they have been stolen from her and from all of us. Nothing can bring Tanya and Josiah back. The future we dreamed of, the milestones, the celebrations, the simple everyday moments have been stolen from us. I will never see my daughter raise her children. I will never see my daughter raise her children. And I will never get to hold my grandson. Our loss is permanent. and it has changed me and my family forever. The death of my pain and devastating impact this crime has had on me and my family but most importantly, my grandson, who will now be come into a life without a mother, is simply unfathomable. We will live with this grief for the rest of our life. What happened to my Tanya and Josiah will affect me forever. And I don't know how to live without her. She was my baby girl, my only girl. She was my baby girl, only girl. I will carry this pain every single day of my life. Nothing will ever take away this grief, the anger, and the emptiness that their loss has left me behind. In the end, two innocent lives have been stolen from us, and we will never fully recover from this loss.
Ma'am, I want to show you what has been marked as court exhibit, photo composite, court exhibit number 1. Are these 30 photographs of Tanya that show her throughout her life?
Yes.
Okay. And do all these photos show Tanya at various stages of her life?
Yes.
Your Honor, permission to publish?
Any objection to introducing the item and publishing it?
No, Your Honor.
Those items will be introduced into evidence and published. And you may step down. And the state's next witness.
I guess other people say before, they're called Tracy Hamill.
Tracy Hamill.
Let's see. Hold on.
Tracy Hamill.
Does she need to be sworn?
I don't know I don't know who the witness is or what your plan is, so it depends on.
Victim advocate who's going to read several victim advocates.
So I'm not, she would not be sworn at this time. She's going to simply be reading a statement of another person. Okay.
Yes, sir.
It's not sworn testimony. She can simply read the document.
Ma'am, can you state your name for the record and spell your last name?
Tracy Hamill, Hamel.
Okay, and what do you do for a living?
I'm a victim's advocate at the state attorney's office.
Okay, and as part of your duties as a victim's advocate, do you sometimes read prepared statements for those people who may not be in an emotional position to do so for themselves?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to show you what has been marked as Court's Exhibit Number 2 for identification purposes. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
What is that?
This is Lenora Bedola's victim impact statement.
Can you go ahead and please read that?
Yes. My name is Lenora Bedola. I am Tanya's stepsister, as well as her best friend. I am here to speak on behalf of myself, my family, and the loss we have all suffered since Tanya and her unborn child Josiah were taken from us. Tanya was a loving mother, a hard-working woman, and a bright light in all of our lives. She had an incredible sense of humor that made everyone around her feel at ease. She was so smart and resourceful, always looking out for others and putting them first. But above all, Tanya was my safe person. She was the one that I could confide in, the one who always knew how to make me laugh or comfort me when I was struggling. I told her everything, my joys, my worries, my fears. Not being able to speak to her anymore has left a hole in my heart that nothing can fill. Since her death, I have cried every day. I wake up with the ache of her absence, knowing that my kids will never get to spend time with their Tiny. We won't be able to go to the beach together again or share simple moments like going to the mall or eating out with our kids. I moved to Florida for the summer just to be closer to her, hoping we could make more memories. And now I'm left with the empty space she once filled so effortlessly. The pain of not having her here is unbearable. I miss the small things, the smell of her hair when she got out of the shower, her smile, and the warmth of her hugs. These are things I will never get to experience again, and it hurts more than I can express. Life is not the same without Tanya. It will never be the same. There is a constant weight of sadness in everything I do, and I feel lost without her by my side. She was a part of my everyday, and now that part is gone. This profound loss that has shattered our family. Tanya was not just a victim of this crime. She was a daughter, a mother, a sister, and a friend. Josiah, her unborn child, was a life we all looked forward to, and his loss is felt deeply. We are left behind with an emptiness that words can barely capture. I will carry the pain of losing Tanya with me for the rest of my life, but I will also carry the love she gave. She was taken from us far too soon, and nothing will ever fill the void she has left.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Court Exhibit Number 3. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
This is the victim impact statement for Michael Reveron.
Okay. Can you go ahead, please read that when you're ready?
My name is Michael Revron, and I am the proud older brother of Tanya Wise. Tanya wasn't just my sister. She was one of the strongest, most caring people I've ever known. She had this rare gift of being the life of the party wherever she went. Her laugh was loud, her smile was real, and she had a way of lighting up a room just by walking in. But beyond all the fun and energy, she had a heart full of love for her family and friends. Even though I was the older brother, Tanya always acted like she was my second mom. She looked out for me in ways I didn't always notice at the time, but I feel every day now. She would show up at my job just to take me out to lunch. She would also come to my job just to spend time with me, sometimes staying for hours just to talk, laugh, and be together. She always offered support, encouragement, or simply a listening ear whenever I needed it. Some of my favorite memories are the simple ones. We used to go to the movies together, just me, Tanya, and my nephew Jamar. We'd laugh, share snacks, and just enjoy being around each other. That was our thing. It was peaceful. It was fun. Birthdays and holidays still feel empty, even after all these years without her laughter and presence. What used to be moments of joy are now constant reminders of what we have lost. Losing Tanya has left me broken in ways that are hard to write. I feel anger, sadness, and emptiness all at once. I feel like a part of me is missing. I struggle to focus and to move forward because so much of my strength and happiness came from her. Even as her older brother, she made me feel grounded. Some days I find myself grabbing my phone, trying to call her to tell her about my day. On top of the grief, I now live with PTSD, depression, anxiety, and nightmares because of what happened to her. I relive the pain over and over in my mind, and some nights I wake up shaking and crying. It has taken a serious toll on my mental health, my sleep, and my ability to function day to day. The future has been forever changed without Tanya. I think about all the milestones she will never get to experience. She will never see her nieces and nephews grow up or witness all the things they will accomplish. She will never meet her grandchild. She will miss the wedding we always joked I'd never have. I will never get to meet my unborn nephew or see all the great things he would have done. For me, I will never again have my sister, best friend to share memories with or to laugh with. Her absence leaves a void in my life that can never be filled. I hope that by sharing who Tanya was and how she lived, that the court understands the depth of loss. We're not just grieving her absence, we're grieving everything she would have continued to be: a loving mother, a joyful sister, a loyal friend, and a light in our lives. This isn't just about the life that was taken from Tanya and my unborn nephew, but the lasting impact their loss has had on me, my family, and all who love them. No words can fully capture the pain, emptiness, and grief we carry every day. Depth of our loss knows no bottom or end.
And I'm going to show you what has been marked as Court Exhibit 4. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
It's the victim impact statement for Reyes Bedola.
Okay, and when you're ready, can you go ahead and read that?
My name is Reyes Bedola. I am the stepfather of Tanya Wise and the grandfather of her unborn son, Josiah Thomas Wise. I would like to talk about how much I miss them and how hard it is to live without them. Tanya was amazing, funny, helpful. She was a bundle of joy. She was a loving, caring, and devoted mother who loved to play around with her son. Everywhere she went, she would smile. She was always there giving a helping hand to the family. She touched everyone with her kindness. We had built a strong bond. I knew her dream and what she wanted to do with her life. and I was going to be there every step of the way to support her. Her life was about her children and raising them. Losing her in this way has left me with a pain that never ends. I looked forward to welcoming my grandson Josiah into the world, but am now heartbroken as I have to come to terms with the fact that this will never happen. All I am left with are dreams of what he would be like today. Every time I see somebody else with a child, I imagine my beloved grandson and wonder about the things that could have been. I would have loved to watch Josiah take his first steps, play sports, and grow into a man. I will never hold him, play with him, or even spoil him, and he will never call Grandpa. I am so hurt my life will never be the same. I am raising Tanya's son Jamar, and I see how he suffers for his mother. This emptiness that my family and I can never be filled. I ask myself, why are Tanya and Josiah? We struggle to move forward every day. I remember going to the beach with my wife, Tanya, and her son Jamar. It was all about spending quality time together, and we all planned our future. Our conversation were all about family. I don't have this anymore. I have never been able to go back to a fun day at the beach as our family feels like we are not complete and are broken, and we are trying to piece it together to continue our next day. Our family is struggling to move forward while trying to honor their memory. Nothing will ever be the same.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And the people of the state of Florida call Johnny Reveron.
So if you raise your right hand and face the clerk.
Please swear affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am. Witness it.
Morning.
Good morning.
Can you state your name for the record and spell your last name, please?
Yes, it's Johnny Reveron. Last name is Reveron.
Okay, and did you know Tanya Wise?
Yes, she was my sister.
Your sister. Okay. I'm going to show you what's been marked as court exhibit number 5. Do you recognize this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is that the statement you prepared?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you're ready, go ahead and read that to the jury.
Yes, sir. My name is Johnny Reveron. I am Tanya's older brother. I stand before you today to speak not only for myself, but for my family and for Tanya's unborn child, who was never given a chance at life. The loss of my sister has devastated every part of my life. Tanya was not just my sister. She was my friend, a piece of my heart. She was carrying her child with such joy and anticipation. That child should be here with us, loved and cherished. But this life was taken before it even began. Just a month before this tragedy, Tanya and I spoke after she started working at the same company where I work. We talked about her excitement for this new chapter and how much she was looking forward to building her future. I never imagined that it would be one of the last meaningful conversations I'd have with her. Since her murder, my world has been turned upside down. I wake up every day with a heavy heart, knowing I may never hear Tanya's laugh, see her smile, or share the simple everyday moments that brothers and sisters are supposed to have. Holidays, birthdays, and family moments are now filled with pain because Tanya and her baby should be here with us. This tragedy has not only caused unbearable emotional pain, it's left lasting scars on my family's sense of security, stability, and peace. I struggle with grief, anger, and unanswered questions. I have lost sleep. I have lost hope, and I will carry this pain for the rest of my life. Tanya and her baby deserve to live. They deserved a future full of love and opportunity, Instead, what remains is a permanent void in my heart and in my family's life. Thank you for allowing me to share on how much I miss my sister.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. People in the state of Florida call Yaritza Irizarry.
Ma'am, just raise your right hand and please.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
And for the witness.
Morning.
Good morning.
Can you state your name for the record and spell both your first and your last name, please?
Jaritza Irizarry, Jaritza. Last name Irizarry.
Okay. And did you know Tanya Wise?
Yes, she was my niece.
And I'm going to show you what has been marked as court exhibit number 6. Do you recognize that document?
Yes, I do.
Okay, is that the statement that you prepared to deliver to the jury?
Yes.
Okay, when you're ready, go ahead and read that to the jury, please.
Your Honor, my name is Jaritza Irizarry, and I am the aunt of Tanya. To me, she was more than a niece. She was like a daughter. Tanya was beautiful, loving young woman whose life was taken from us in the most painful and senseless way. Her death has left us a permanent hole in my heart and in the heart of my family. Tanya was a devoted mother. She loved her son Jamar with everything she had, and she was overjoyed to be pregnant with another baby Josiah. Not long before her murder, I hosted her baby shower. I could still picture that day, glowing with happiness, surrounded by her family, smiling as she opened gifts for her new baby. She was so full of hope for the future, so excited about raising her children, and so ready to begin a new chapter of her life. But that joy and that future were stolen from her, from Jamar, from all of us. Jamar has to grow up without his mother, and Josiah never even had the chance to take his first breath. Her loss has shattered our entire family. My sister, her mother, is broken. No parent should ever have to bury their child, and watching her live with this pain has been unbearable. Every holiday, every birthday, every family gathering feels incomplete without Tanya. There is always an empty chair and a silence where her laughter should be. For me, it's the everyday moments I miss the most. We shared so many simple joys together, taking the kids to the beach, going shopping, eating out, or just cooking her favorite meal. I miss sitting with her, talking and joking around. She had this way of making everything seem better. No matter what I was going through, at times I wanted to pick up the phone and call her to tell her everything, like what I always did. But now there is only a silence. Those ordinary times that once brought me comfort and happiness now feel heavy and empty without her. The pain of losing Tanya has affected me deeply, both emotionally and physically. I cry without warning. I struggle to focus to find joy in the things I once loved. I suffer from sleepless nights, nightmares, and anxiety. The grief sits in my body like a weight, leaving me exhausted and drained. A part of me died with her, and I will never be the same. The crime didn't just take one life, it took two. Tanya's life was taken, and so was baby Josiah's before he ever had the chance to live. Jamar lost his mother, my sister lost her daughter, and I lost someone who was like my own child.
Our family has been torn apart, and the pain we carry will never go away. Respectfully, Teresa Irizarry.
Thank you, ma'am. And people say Florida call Jamar Bedolla.
So if you can raise your right hand, please.
Do you swear affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Over that way to witness.
Morning. Can you state your name for the record and spell your last name, please?
Jamar Bedolla, Bedolla.
Okay. And what is your relationship to Tanya Wise?
She was my mother.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as Court's Exhibit number 7 for identification purposes. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, is that the statement that you prepared?
Yes.
Okay, when you're ready, can you go ahead and please read that to the jury?
Hello, I'm Jamar, and I'm the son of Tanya Esther Wise, who was taken from us. My mother was the closest person to me, and she was like my best friend. Also, she was always there for me. I'm here to share a few to honor my mother and talk about how I was affected. Ever since that day, there's been many different. Ever since that day, there have been many different ways that I've been affected emotionally. For example, I've developed depression, sleeping problems, and anxiety. Losing her made me grow faster than I should have. I used to hide my pain and try dealing with it on my own, and to protect myself from getting hurt more than I was. And I didn't like talking about what was wrong with me. Every day, I would think about how she won't be able to see what I've accomplished and what I will accomplish in the future. She's already missed some of my milestones that I've reached, and I think that she would have been proud of them. I wish that she could have met my first girlfriend and watched me perform in my musical performances for my school. I'm in marching band. My mom was also musically inclined. She played the clarinet, and I hope that she would be proud of who I've become. On that day, I've lost more than a mother. I also lost the chance to have my mother watch me grow, and I hope that she's proud of me for coming here and talking about how this has affected me. I choose to honor my mother because she was one of the most, if not the most important people who has been in my life.
Thank you. That will conclude the evidence from the state.
Members of the jury, that concludes the state's part of the evidentiary portion of this penalty phase. As I mentioned, we're going to break at this time till 1 o'clock. Please remember the rules regarding communication. Don't discuss this case with anyone, including your fellow jurors. Enjoy your lunch, and we'll reconvene at 1 o'clock. And please leave your notes on your chairs.
I have something. I know the state for the photo composite was 1, but I already had a 1. Can this be 1A? Can I make this 1A?
What was one?
1 was her Ms. Bedola's statement, impact statement.
Yes. Going to make it 1A. Now, some of these items I think came into evidence, but some were just court's exhibits. Is that right?
Yeah, all of them.
They're all courts exhibits. So what I mentioned before, as far as the other one, coming to evidence, just strike that. They'll all be courts exhibits. Okay. All right. And anything else for us to take before we break and come back at 1 o'clock?
Not for the defense. Judge.
Okay.
Nothing from
Stay.
the
All right. We'll see you at 1 o'clock, and we have the Zoom working. I emailed you the message about the interpreter being here tomorrow. She's going to be here, Miss
Thank you.
DA, so that should not be a problem at 8:30. And enjoy your lunch. We'll see you at 1 o'clock.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Interesting morning here. Yeah. First of all, if you're just tuning in, the state went through the factors that the jury has to consider when deciding the death penalty. The first one is whether there were multiple victims, obviously, or one or more capital offenses. So he was convicted of 2 capital offenses. And the thing I found interesting that I did not know, and I'm a lawyer, I did not know that, like, he can get the death penalty on one or the other. Like, he can get the death penalty on the mom and not and life on the baby, or life on the mom and death on the baby, or I didn't know that. And then does one merge into the other? Like, this raises a whole bunch of questions that I need to explore the answers to. I do like this judge. So this is really broken up here. So they've gone to lunch. They're going to come back. Then the defense will start their case. And when he did his opening, he sounded like he didn't have a clue what was going to happen here. He didn't. Look at me with the zipper here. Hold on. Woo. So he sounded like he didn't have a clue what his witnesses were going to say. In fact, he said he didn't know what they were going to say, which is just weird. You know, I know he's got a private investigator that went to Connecticut to round these people up. I think this afternoon what we're going to see is a lot of Zoom from these people in Connecticut. And probably through an interpreter, I think, because most of these people are probably Spanish speaking. Interesting. So back to the prosecution's opening, they went through the factors, the 2 capital offenses, financial. Now, was this done for financial gain? My first instinct was to say, no, this was not for financial gain. But, you know, he brought out a good point. He said, you know, I'll lose everything if, you know, if I don't do this. I'm going to lose everything. Meaning, you know, he would lose his wife. He'd have to pay child support, you know, probably to Josiah and to the kids that he's got now. Well, most of them are adults, but I think he has one that was still a minor at the time. Goodness. And then whether this was cold and calculated. Boy, did I get dressed this morning? Goodness gracious. Look in the mirror, Rebecca. Yeah, so was this cold, calculated? Clearly calculated. We know he was planning this for days. Cold in that he'd had a plan, you know, that this was done, you know, he planned this ahead of time. So all the aggravating factors are there. They've already proved all the aggravating factors beyond a reasonable doubt. And the defense admitted that. Oh, they've already proved those beyond a reasonable doubt. And I'm going to put on mitigating factors, but I don't know what they're going to be. I've never seen an opening from the defense like that. No, she's not there. You know, interesting, when the defense did their closings in the guilt phase, they blamed the wife. They're like, it was her. And, you know, I don't know where she's at, but she's not there. Or one of the court feeds would have picked up the fact that she's there. I don't see anybody there in support of this guy. Not one. And then, you know, the other thing is this guy a great loss to the community? Like, what did he contribute to the community that will be a loss without him? And I'm thinking, one less garbage truck driver. Yeah. Really, really sad. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the feed running. I'm working on my store, guys. I am so close, so close. I think I'll have it open this weekend. Yay. Can't wait. I'm going to do like a grand opening live for that. And if you're just tuning in, don't forget Craft With Me Wednesday is tonight at 7 o'clock. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. Any suggestions? What do you guys want to see tonight? What would you like to see me do? Since I've got you here, you're like, well, I'd say you're a captive audience, but you're not. You can leave at any time. But what would you like to see me do? Oh, I need to work on this. I haven't worked on my Afghan in a week. I just kind of put it aside. Because I've been so busy doing other things. I finished my log cabin. If you look at the Facebook group, Crafting Judy Facebook group, you'll see the log cabin. It's complete. Who was the lady that kept showing? Oh, the mom, Elizabeth. That is Tanya Wise's mother. She was the first one to speak. Yeah. I'm not sure what all crafts that you do. I need to watch more of your videos. I do crochet, watercolor painting. I do diamond painting. What do I not do? I'll tell you what. I do Legos. I do not do miniatures. No way. Nothing that involves glue. If you think of a craft and it involves glue, I don't do it. Let's put it out. That's probably the easiest question. Oh, you crochet. Croquet is a game, but I think you meant crochet, and that's so cool. I'm currently working on an Afghan. I could work on the Afghan tonight. Or I could, I don't know. You saw the log cabin. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's so much fun spending time with you guys. It really is. All right. But I have some work to do while they're at lunch. So I'm going to leave the feed running. It just makes it easier. They're going to be back at 1 o'clock, which is noon. Oh my gosh, that's a long time from now. Ooh. Maybe I should do part 2. I don't know. That's like an hour. What are it? 2.5 hours. I think I'm going to end the live here because I don't want to leave this thing running for 2.5 hours. I know, Sue. I saw that you popped in. Listen, you guys know DP Addiction Adventures Jen. She's really going through it, with her job and her kids, and she is just, running herself ragged. And I had promised to spend some time with her on Monday night. And I forgot when I made that commitment that I had the live. So I did the recording. And but let me know what you think. If you get a chance to pop into that recording, let me know what you think of that setup. Like, it was easier to work at the dining room table than it was to work here at this craft table. I do have to work on the sound. I think the sound was not great, but yeah. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end here. We'll be back at noon Central Time, 1 p.m. I'll just put it up as part 2. And then I will see you guys then. Have a wonderful morning. See you this afternoon. Go grab some more coffee. Get out of craft. And, you guys didn't decide what I want to do tonight. I'll figure it out. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.